Hi, this is Flo, little gnome mage, frost mage that is, doing a tour of Battlegrounds of Azeroth. This is my video. I'm an alt, I'm 95, I have a few hundred HKs, but I haven't been in the Battlegrounds in a long time, so I've gotten several releases, in fact, since the School of Hard Knocks and we got our Violet Protodrake. So I'm back to see how the meta game has changed in Battlegrounds. This is our first battleground. This is Warsong Gulch. This is the oldest battleground in World of Warcraft, and probably one of the oldest in MMOs if you accept Warcraft 1, 2, and 3. This is a simple battleground. It's capture the flag, run the flag from your opponent's hold across the center open field to your hold. You'll notice that I keep hiding in the bushes because normally in the old days when you were a gnome you got targeted a lot, and so what you tended to do is hide in the bush, and Hordies tended to not be too quick on finding the source of who was targeting them, so you could actually do a lot of damage from the bush till somebody went and got you. Now I've engaged in the melee here. I'm not sure whether at this point I've just run along and found a battle. I'm not sure who's fighting whom for whatever reason here. Or who's carrying whose flag. But what seems to have changed in the... Thank you for those heals. What seems to... Oh, and she's just gotten her first killing blow, which is very interesting after all those hundreds of HKs. I'm not a PvP player, but I do enjoy Battlegrounds on a casual basis, and so she hasn't been in a while. So that's her, from this particular character, her first KB. Very cool. Now, she's run pretty much across the open field, and she's got up in the Hordie territory, which is not perhaps a good idea. She's up near the Hordie hold here. And so she's probably going to get a free trip to the GY here in a sec. However, the meta has changed a lot in this game. It used to be, a couple years back when I was running this more, there's a GY trip, that people would turtle and blockade each other's holds, and particularly try to block anyone capturing the flag from being able to plant the opponent's flag in their own flag rooms. So the flag rooms were usually full of the enemy, and so it would make it easier for you to grab the enemy's flag in their flag room, but once you got back to your own flag room, and you could pretty much do that if you were a druid in travel form. You could run along the edge of the big field and no one would bug you, because they were all your enemy were in your flag room blocking your access to plant the flag. And so you can't do a capture until you can put the enemy's flag in your flag room flag spot, and that would be virtually impossible. So this has changed a lot. Now in this particular battle we're seeing here, everyone is just having a good old time out in the open. And so what we're looking here is, where are the flag carriers? Because we either want to help our flag carrier out, defend him, or we want to go beat up on the enemies carrying our flag. And we seem to have just stumbled into a small battle here in the middle. So what seems to be happening now is everyone is fighting over the flag carriers. And so there's hardly anyone in the flag rooms. Most of the battling is happening out in the open. So that's a totally different style of game than Warsong Gulch used to be. Another trip to the GY. That's the thing with being a mage. You've got lots of DPS. Strongest DPS in the game if you're configured and built properly. But, clothy. You have ways of surviving with Iceblock, but Iceblock is on cooldown a lot of the time, and in PvP it's not necessarily there often enough to help you out. So, oh yes, you have Blink and a few other things, but you're not going to survive long if you run into a bunch of enemies and you don't have a healer around. However, this is where she's seeing that she really can hit these guys from an amazing distance. This appears to me to be farther than I would normally expect to be able to hit an NPC, so I was actually rather surprised that she was able to get this HK from that far away. This is the Alliance hold, and here's a view of the field looking over toward the Horde hold, sorry. And we're just running out here trying to find the action. Yeah, we could mount up, but I don't think we need to go that far from the look of it. So again, this is all flag carrier related action out in the open. Coming up upon some interesting activity. Again, we're up in the Horde zone here. Little battle very close to the side entrance to the Horde hold here. This is where it's nice to have friends that can hear. And we're still chasing flag carriers here.
Thank you. I really don't want to go over there by yourself.
In this case, we're up with someone who has the red flag, so it must be our guy.
Bush.
We're trying to defend, and he's got a whole pile of Horde on him. Oh. Watch that reflection. It's a strange bug that when you're near a large object, your target area sort of shoots up in the sky and does nothing. So now she's found her favorite place, a nice little bush where she still has line of sight and where she can still back out and see what she's doing. Shoot a few of these ice balls in there. But she's mainly using Frost Lance here and doing a really good job at burning down a bunch of these dudes. Doing some serious damage given that she's not PvP geared here. So she's level 95. I have 3 level 100s right now, and she's mainly a crafter for me, so she's maxed out in her crafting, but she has not finished her leveling yet. This is where it gets interesting. So she's getting beaten on by some Horde, and now we have a troll trying to do something with her Iceblock. This is a highlight for me. I thought this was so funny. I wanted to replay that again and again and again. What were you trying to do to that Iceblock, guy? It does, unless I move, it lasts, or something DOT happens, that thing lasts for 6 minutes, so you don't need to spend your time dancing on someone's Iceblock. Yes, that was not going to end well right at the gates of the Horde camp there. So yes, this character is probably geared a PvE about 590 to 600 only, given she's 95, and she's got a few 640 crafted. She hasn't even upgraded yet because she's been spending her time basically leveling. What she's got right now is, so she's not 100, so she can't buy 625 honor gear, which levels up automatically to 675 when you're in a PvP situation like a battleground. So she's competing right now with guys in here and gals who are at the 675 gear level throughout, and she has no PvP gear and probably levels slightly sub 600. So the fact that she's able to do as much damage with the relatively lousy weapon that she has, and that she's able to survive as long as she has been, says some interesting things that I won't probably elaborate on here, but this was a lot easier than I remember it as being. Let's just put it that way. But then I haven't been in here since, I guess it would have been early mists of Pandaria, a couple of years. But she's one of my favorite PvP characters. Battlegrounds are my only PvP that I play, and I do enjoy them periodically. And the Mage, I think, is a great Battleground character, especially the Frost Mage, because of the Iceblock, because of the significant long-range DPS. You just have to put up with a bunch of GY trips. And I'm not trying here to be particularly blinky. I have been using blink and invisibility and time warp as I can, but I'm not trying to run this professionally here. I'm just exploring. So the Horde is going to win this one, hands down. That's not too surprising in Warsong Gulch. This is not one of those battlegrounds where the Horde always wins. This isn't Eye of the Storm. This isn't one of those ones where the Alliance always wins. This isn't Alterac Valley. I mean, we'll get to those. They're totally different animals. But, especially Alterac Valley is totally different than any other battleground out there, I think. But, you know, this one is just a fun old BG. It still remains fun. It's very simple. Probably it's the simplest one out there in World of Warcraft, but it remains fun, and with the meta having changed to just open field battle like this, it's just slap happy fun would be the way I would put it. More fun than turtling away in a hole. Less strategy involved, but perhaps more fun. So this is part 1 in a series. We're going to go on and do them in age sequence. So the next part 2 will be Arathi Basin, and then we'll do Alterac Valley and Eye of the Storm, and then we'll get further on into the Lich King and Cataclysm battlegrounds. And then the Mists of Pandaria brought us a couple of interesting battlegrounds like Temple of Kathmandu. I'm not a big fan, I will tell you right now, of the Siege Warfare ones. We will go in and play around a little bit in there just to show you a feel if you're new to it. But normally the 2 Siege battlegrounds are on my avoid list for my random battleground selection, because I just don't enjoy it. Don't go there. So anyway, this is our Warsong Gulch intro. Just looking around the field for the next little battle to help out here. Let's see, who are we helping? Which flag carrier is it here? Help ours or attack theirs? Whatever is closest. Blizzard used to be such a good spell, and it's like virtually useless in PvP these days. It's been nerfed so badly, for obvious reasons. But we're having some really good results with Frostbolt here. Frostlance. Cleared that bunch out of our front doorstep. Off we go to the next battle. Skirmish. Whatever. That's the other thing with Blizzard is when they're moving really fast, it's not going to really help. They're able to avoid it quite readily. Trying to get a stun on this dude, but not working. Pull a time warp. As you see, the numbers she's getting are not really high, but they're high enough to do the job. some better gear. But it's fun anyway. A good little run around romp in a gulch. Oops. Oh, it ended before that bunch of Hordie caught me, so not bad. A few HK, 1 KB, virtually no EXP. Boo-hoo for a leveling character. But you gotta run a lot of Battlegrounds if you're trying to level with Battlegrounds. Anyway, stay tuned for part 2. Arathi Basin, which is a different animal. More of the patient person's Battleground.